you might have noticed that I'm always inviting you to this adventure of life. That really, this moment is an invitation. So this moment's always an invitation. This moment's an invitation, and it's the adventure as well. And something that's very powerful is to say yes to this moment. It doesn't need to be a thought yes. It doesn't need to be some verbal yes. You don't need to announce it, but is to see this moment as an invitation. And it's more that internally you are saying yes. It's a non-verbal yes. And it's just simply yes to this moment. Whatever is needed in this moment, then there's just a silent yes. And it's not going to look magical or special. It's not that it needs to show up as some sort of big invitation. It's literally the ordinary. And in this silent yes, what actually is dropped is the resistance. Resistance is like a no. It's not like a no, it is no. So you find that saying yes to the moment then is actually the absence of resistance. Now, if you can remember a time when you were experiencing happiness, just simply recall that it was the absence of resistance. There was no resistance. You said yes to the moment. Whether it be a movie or water skiing or gardening or a coffee date with a friend. It was simply you saying yes to the moment. It was the absence of resistance. So we find that by actually saying yes to the moment, you're experiencing happiness, that you actually start enjoying the moment, that this moment is an adventure that you are saying yes to. Now, the mind wants to create circumstances. I can say yes to this, but this other stuff, I can't say yes to that. So it wants to pick and choose. Yes, I can say yes to $1 million, but I can't say yes to losing my job. So it shows up as these preferences. By saying yes to the moment, there's a surrendering of these preferences. These circumstances, these conditions. And what's being surrendered is quite literally suffering. Because suffering is saying no to this moment. So by saying yes to this moment, it's an invitation to be free of suffering. And this invitation is always now. You don't have to wait for it. So whatever the ordinary life event is in front of you, it's just yes. And like this, you're able to experience the event without suffering it. So that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is this adventure. What I often describe as adventure has no destination. And what I mean by destination is quite literally like a destination, or it's like an endpoint. And the mind is always trying to arrive at this destination. But it's really that you don't arrive at a destination, but more so that the destination is dropped. When we think of a trip, we think of a trip from A to B, from point A to B. That's the trip. There's a destination, there's an endpoint. Whereas this is different than a trip. That actually the destination drops. There's no destination. The thought, are we there yet, stops arising. So this endpoint is always these thoughts about future. The destination is always seen to be in the future. But actually saying yes to this moment and the adventure of now, this future drops. There's no future. There's no next. There's no destination. So another perspective to accept this journey, this adventure of life is letting go of the need to know. Because the need to know is always about the destination. I need to know where I'm going, what's ahead, what's upcoming. And you can't actually enjoy the adventure like this. One, you can't even experience the adventure. You definitely can't enjoy it. Because even this is a subtle resistance to the invitation. Seeking what is not. What is not is the destination that's imaginary, my imaginary endpoint. as much imagining, fantasizing, it's not real. What's real is what is. So I'm dreaming of a destination. So the other perspective is letting go of dreaming of the destination. And then you're simply experiencing this moment. Now, another way you can look at it is this moment is the journey, and you experience that the journey is the destination. That it's not going to be at a later time. It's right now. Or you could say that you're experiencing this moment and then the destination drops. There's no thinking about the destination. You're not concerned with arriving. Because you're experiencing the happiness right here, right now. Notice those times in your life when you're experiencing happiness. You're not concerned with anything. The destination has dropped when you're experiencing happiness. You actually notice that it's the obscuring of that happiness once you start thinking about tomorrow or the next moment or the next thing. That activity actually seems to artificially put an end to that happiness. But really, that happiness is ever present. It's now. Saying yes to the moment, you are experiencing the happiness that you are. Letting go of the destination, trying to arrive, you then are experiencing the happiness that is here now. So what seems like two perspectives are really just two perspectives of the same thing. You can say yes to this moment. By saying yes to this moment, the destination drops. By letting go of the need to know and plan and strategize and figure out, which is always about arriving at a destination, by letting go of that, then you simply are relaxing into this moment. And you're experiencing this moment as the adventure of life. So just contemplate how much strategizing, planning, needing to know, needing to figure it out, needing to solve it, predicting, questioning. And can there simply just be a relaxation which you let go of the need to know? An adventure is always unknown. If it's known, it's not an adventure. That's where I make the distinction between like a trip and an adventure. A trip has a map, it has a plan. Here's a route. Here's where I'm going to stop. A, B, C, D, E, F, there, destination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, destination. But an adventure is not like that. An adventure is full of spontaneity. It's unknown. And this is the only way to experience a wonderful life. An adventurous life is a wonderful life. Adventure is full of wonder. It's full of surprise. An adventure is alive. What is wonder? Wonder is surprise. You can only be surprised when you don't know. It's that childlike wonder, that wide-eyed wonder where you don't know. Where every step is full of mystery. Now, you don't need to do anything to bring about this mystery, this magic, this wonder, this surprise, because it's actually the default. It already is. It's the need to know and plan and strategize and predict and try and figure it out and map out. It's all of that that's an overlay. And that's an activity. So it's simply just a relaxation of that figuring it out activity, the planning activity, the strategizing activity. It's just relaxing that need to know. I need to know what's next. It's relaxing that concern with the next thing. If there's so much concern with the next thing, then how are you experiencing this fully? You can't. To experience this fully, there can be no next. And when you're experiencing this fully, there's no concern with next. Next doesn't even arise. That thought doesn't even arise. The destination is always associated to happiness. But when you're experiencing this fully, you are experiencing happiness. When you're experiencing happiness, who cares about a destination? So both ways are really the way of surrender, because there's resistance to this moment. You're just simply aware of that no. And by being aware of that no, that resistance relaxes. And then the default is yes. You don't really have to say yes. That's why I said it's not verbal. Actually, when you look at it, no is always verbal. I don't like this. I don't want this. This shouldn't be. That's verbal. But the yes is a silent yes. That's why I say you don't need to say yes in the head. You don't need to say yes mentally. It's not like some sort of affirmation. Yes is the default. No is something that's added. In seeing the add-on, you're seeing the suffering. Where there's the no, there's suffering. In seeing that, that's then decreasing and it disappears. And then there's the yes that remains. There's just the happiness that remains. Now, it's not a one-time thing, but you start noticing that no more and more. And like this, it's just being seen, it's being relaxed, and then you're experiencing more and more of that yes. So it's experiences more of a, yeah, I'm saying yes to life. I'm opening up to life. And like this, you start experiencing more happiness. You start enjoying life more. And like I said, you're not just saying yes to the good things. It's saying yes to what appears to be the challenges. In saying yes to the highs and the lows, there's an equanimity that you start experiencing. There's a capacity that you're experiencing. The capacity to experience anything and everything. It's really an embrace, that you're embracing everything. Saying yes is an embrace of life. Or from the other perspective is this need to know, need to figure it out. Like I said, this is really a no to this moment being disguised as the need to know. Because this need to know, the need to figure out, the need to plan, all of this is really seeking what is not. The destination is seen to be something that's not here. So I'm now seeking something that is not here. Which means that there's a resistance to what is here. I'm seeking what is not because I'm resisting what is. So there's a relaxing of that need to know and the strategy and the planning and the seeking of next. There's a relaxing of that. There's a surrendering of that seeking. And you're just simply resting as, I don't know. Like I said, this is where the adventure begins, is from I don't know. And it's with I don't know that's when you experience the magic and the mystery and the aliveness and the wonder and the surprise. So two different perspectives, both are really the path of surrender. But hopefully you're able to see it in your own life and see it's always available. Once you start getting a taste of that adventure, a taste of that aliveness, it's like you fall in love with that adventure, that you're in love with that aliveness. And ultimately, you are the adventure.